What's up, fight fans? Again, Happy New Year. Welcome to Mr. Mustache MMA News. Today's episode, I want to be discussing how I think 2022 is going to be the year of Sugar Sean O'Malley. Starting off from the top, his last performance against Julian Paiva was fantastic. He looked sharp. He looked ready for the moment. The lights seemed to really not bother him. What he and Tim Welch have going on down in New Mexico, I think it is. It's New Mexico, Arizona, is something really special what they got going down over there. And, besides his loss to Cheeto, he's dominated almost every single person he's gone up against, and he's looked fantastic doing it. And he has so many different matchups coming up, and that's kind of what I want to emphasize in this video is he can pretty much fight anybody in the top 15, top 20 in the UFC. I mean, right now he's ranked number 12. He's got Pedro Munoz, Marlon Moraes, which I think is a good matchup against him. Frankie Edgar, he's got right there. He does have that rematch against Cheeto possibly available for him. I don't know if Cheeto's going to take that fight, but it is a very good possibility that he could get that rematch another win or two away. If he wants to continue fighting unranked guys, there is Adrian Yanez, there's Song Yadong. You have his grudge match against Cody Garbrandt, because they removed him from the rankings, so that would be a really good opportunity. But I think that's a bad fight for Cody. Cody already expressed interest the other day through the media that he wanted that fight, and that fight really interested him, and the fact that he was unranked, that he thinks that he could get that matchup. But I really don't think that's good for him. I think another KO loss is going to end his career. So I think he really needs to be careful what he does going forward with how much time he decides to take off, and if he decides to come back at flyweight. But that's a whole nother video, and we can get into that in a different video. Right now we're talking about Sean O'Malley, and I think he does have that Cody Garbrandt fight available to him. He has the Adrian Yanez fight available to him. I think he could fight Song Yadong. I think that would be a really good matchup for him. You got Ricky Simone, who just finished Rafael Assunção in a really violent, dominating way. Bantamweight has really become one of the top tier saturated divisions in the UFC, and it's very interesting to see what he's going to do next. I think Merab Dvalishvili even called him out. I think that's a bad matchup for Sean O'Malley. I think Merab should be fighting up then down, especially with where he's at and his win streak. I think Merab should be fighting a guy like Jose Aldo, or he should be fighting Rob Font. But with Sean O'Malley, with where he's at, I think he should be also fighting a guy maybe like Rob Font coming off that loss to Jose Aldo. I don't think Sean's going to get that top 5 guy right away. I think if they're smart, they're going to give him somebody like Ricky Simone, Pedro Munoz, maybe even a Frankie Edgar or a Marlon Moraes. I think right in that range, which is right where Sean is ranked, I think is perfect for him. Get those money fights, just get that contendership building up more and more and more the same way like they did with Conor McGregor. I think it's extremely exciting what they can do with Sean O'Malley. With the way that he's looked, let's get into it. He's 15-1 in his last 3 fights, 3 straight KOs against Thomas Almeida, which he basically, like he said, knocked out 2-3 times in that one fight. I don't know what that ref was doing, but poor Thomas, he tried to hold in there as long as he could, but Sean fucked him up. In that fight against Chris Munho, Chris really didn't offer much throughout that entire fight except his toughness. He just didn't take a step back. That fight should have been stopped, I think, a lot earlier than what it did. And that really showed how Sean can keep moving. He can keep sticking the jab. His cardio was there. You did see him get tired there a little bit at the end of the 3rd round, but I think that will go with anybody who kind of used that type of output. Chris really took a fucking beating in that fight. So that's really exciting to think about. I think he's 3 wins away from a possible title shot, or even, I think that the whole thing right now with Bantamweight, Dominic Cruz, I don't think is going to touch Sean right now. Cruz is kind of in his, if he doesn't get a title shot, he wants the Legends fight. I think the fight with him and Jose Aldo makes a lot of sense. Bantamweight is just a whole crazy conversation in itself. I can go on and on and on and on and on. Corey Sandhagen, you can even have that matchup with Sean O'Malley. I think that would be a fucking awesome matchup. Sandhagen's kind of in this weird spot where he already fought the guys in the top 4 or 5. So I think he's going to have to take a year or two and kind of be that gatekeeper position where he's going to have to fight those guys that are ranked 12th, 15th, maybe even not even ranked, because of his recent losses to Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling both. So And I mean, he lost to TJ Dillashaw technically, so as well. So I mean, he really lost to the top three guys in the division that's not him. And we'll see where that goes, you know, with I mean, yeah, I mean, a Corey Sandhagen fight, I mean, I think makes a lot of sense. That's what I'd like to see. I just don't think that's going to happen right now. I think that's maybe 1 or 2 fights away, realistically, with what Sean's doing. I like what they're doing with him. I think he should continue doing that. He's very young. He has the possibility of becoming a crazy fucking superstar in the UFC. Who even knows if he stays in the UFC? The kid has the potential to make so much money. He can go elsewhere and do whatever he wants. So we'll see what the future takes with Sean O'Malley. I think personally, put a gun to my head, I think he's going to fight somebody like Ricky Simon or Marlon Moraes next. That's going to be my guess. We'll see though. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Mr. Mustache, this is a new channel. I'm doing my best to give you guys some good content on what my opinions are. I'm no MMA expert. I'm just a big hardcore fan that loves the sport. And I just want to give my intake, bring more eyes on the sport, and spread my love for it. So thank you guys. Let's go, fight fans.